Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast, the Drafted Up Podcast. Week 11 in the books. We're moving on to week 12. We're pushing into the fantasy playoffs. That's Nick. I'm Theo. This is the Drafted Up Podcast. If you're listening, you already know YouTube, Spotify, Apple. That's where you can find the show. But subscribe, rate, review, share, all that good stuff. That's more important if you're listening and you haven't done that. Go ahead and do it. What's the point? Why are you listening if you're not doing that stuff? Nicholas, how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Week 11. Pretty weird week overall for some people, but there were teams that went off, dude. If you had the right combination of guys, you had a mondo week, bro. But there are a lot of teams that just absolutely did not show up this week. A lot of easy wins for a lot of people out there in fantasy this week.
Yeah. And you'll get the gist of that in our Players of the Week /week. Nick's got signs. I know they're going to be coming up at some point. And then, of course, we'll end the show with our Thursday night previews. We got a Bills-Texans game here on Thursday night. So let's get into the news. Yeah? You ready to jump right in?
I'm ready, man.
For Thursday, as mentioned, we'll talk about at the end of the show. CJ Stroud's going to miss his third game with a concussion, so it looks like it'll be another Davis Mills game for the Houston Texans against Buffalo. And Davis Mills has been okay. I don't think it hurts the Texans too much. Their defense is their strong point anyways, and their defense has been incredible, so we'll see how that matchup is there against Josh Allen and crew on Thursday.
Yeah, it's definitely probably a good thing for Nico Collins. I'm not going to lie. 2 top 5 wide receiver finishes with Davis Mills. Last week was a little bit of a step back for Davis Mills. His first start was amazing last week he had hit and misses, but he made some nice throws.
Of coming from behind that first game against Jacksonville.
Yes.
So he didn't have to throw the ball a ton this week against the Titans. But Nico's been real strong with Davis Mills.
For sure, and we kind of have to remember that, like, Davis Mills, before he lost his job to CJ Stroud, it kind of looked like they were going to give this kid a chance. He looked okay, great, but he's a tolerable quarterback and get the job done. He's a good backup, and he showed up last 2 weeks for this team big, man. So I expect CJ Stroud to miss as much time as he needs to heal up. There's no need to rush him back if you guys are winning. So.
Yeah, the Texans are kind of teetering in that playoff zone range. Like, they're not a lock, but they're fighting for a spot. So I would expect Stroud back week 13. They get the nice extended time off after Thursday. So I would assume he's back. And I think he would have been back this week had this game been on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree. But it's very similar to the Brock Purdy situation where Mac Jones came in nicely, filled in. They were winning games. There was no need to rush Purdy back. So I expect Stroud to be back next week. But if Davis Mills comes out, shows up, gets a nice W on Thursday versus Buffalo, that would be a crazy outcome. But crazier things have happened. Buffalo lost to Miami 2 weeks ago. So
the Bills. You never know what Bills team you're getting. And the Niners did rush Mac Jones or Brock Purdy back, and then he ended up missing more time. Yeah, he re-aggravated that toe injury.
And then Mac Jones stepped on nicely, and he played really well. So shout out Mac Jones. Yep. That offense did not miss a beat, though.
No. Yeah. Michael Penix Jr., he went on IR. He's probably going to miss the year with a knee injury. Not the thing you want to hear with a guy who's had 3 major knee injuries coming into the league. So I know they were running tests Monday or today. Nothing's come out on like the severity of it, but I would assume Atlanta shuts him down this year. They're not going anywhere. So we'll see what that offense is looking like at Drake London's week to week. So they might be without him. This could be a struggle for Atlanta here in week 12.
Yeah, for sure. No London, no Penix. That only means Kirk Cousins and Darnell Mooney, and that's not a combination you like. I'm not thrilled, but it does open up opportunities for Mooney and Kyle Pitts because Kirk Cousins, unlike Michael Penix, will spread the ball around. Michael Penix will hyper-target his number one option, as he should, because it's Drake London. Mm-hmm. So Mooney and Pitts might have some type of flexibility coming up with Kirk Cousins as their starter, but I don't know. I think the whole offense takes a hit without Penix and London out there. So, like, Bijan's obviously still a must start, but he might not be RB1, RB2 consistently anymore with Kirk Cousins out there.
Yeah, I would assume Atlanta really focuses in on Bijan and Tyler Algier going forward. Take as much off Kirk Cousins' plate as possible because he's not the guy they paid all that money to. He's a shell of himself from his Minnesota days, for sure. Aaron Rodgers, he hurt his wrist, fractured left wrist. Does not need surgery, and Aaron Rodgers is pushing to play Sunday, so we'll see. That's something to monitor. If not, it will be Mason Rudolph out there for the Steelers against the Bears.
I expect Rodgers to miss probably a game. If he's looking to play this week, I expect him to miss a game with the wrist injury. I get his non-throwing injury, his non-throwing arm or wrist, but it's still a pretty decent injury. I expect him to miss this week, but I kind of think he'll be back the week follow their next game.
And then final bit of quarterback news. Your guy, Justin Fields, officially benched again by the New York Jets, as it will be Tyrod Taylor on Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, I absolutely love that move. It's Justin Fields is obviously Justin Fields, so he's not going to win you games.
Drake London is out week 12 for Atlanta.
Confirmed? Nice.
Yes. Yep.
See, that's how teams should do it. Get it done early. It's literally Tuesday.
Yeah.
If you're not going to play, already announce him out. Let us move guys to the IR. I hate it.
Yeah. Jamar Chase suspended one game for his incident on Sunday where he apparently spit on Steelers. Yeah, apparently, his words. Steelers corner Jalen Ramsey, who was ejected from the game because he punched Jamar Chase. So Chase is appealing that. By the time you're listening to this, that appeal process should be over, as it was today. I will go under that he's going to miss the game against the Patriots on Sunday, but can you monitor that? Well, like I said, as the time you're listening to this, we'll know for sure, but I'm working under the influence that he will not be out there Sunday.
Yep. Yeah, everyone should be prepared to not have Jamar Chase this week. There's clear as day video out there of him spitting on Jalen Ramsey, so it's kind of like he forgot the games are televised and they're being recorded, so it's kind of funny.
Not fantasy related per se. Lane Johnson, Eagles future Hall of Fame right tackle, is going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. So, tough sledding there for the Eagles. Offense going forward is Lane Johnson is one of the better tackles, if not maybe the best right tackle.
Not the best. Yeah.
Yeah. So missing him is huge for this team whose offense just doesn't seem to be clicking. And this is definitely not going to help that situation.
Yeah, for sure. Their offense is their offense, obviously, but dude, their defense is so good, dude. And we've seen it last week. I get having Lane Johnson not right now. It's not okay. It's obviously a big deal, but it's such a relief knowing that he'll be back for the playoffs for this team. Mm-hmm. That 4 to 6 window. Like if he was out for the season and he was going to miss the playoffs, then I would be like really worried. But I think the Eagles have the division in the bag. I don't think it's going to be Dallas. It's not going to be Washington. It's not going to be the Giants. It's going to be Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So Philadelphia just has to coast to the playoffs, get there healthy. I honestly think Jalen Hurts is talented enough to make some plays happen in an offense that's not fully functioning. I think Philadelphia is poised to make a deep playoff run.
Jalen Warren, who missed a little bit of Week 11, got her ankle injury. Pittsburgh's optimistic he plays this week, but if he's not playing and Kenneth Gainwell is still on your waivers, pick him up. We'll talk about him a little bit later, as he will be the focal point of the offense against the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, especially with Mason Rudolph out there, it's going to run through the running game, and it's going to be Jalen Warren or Kenny G, who is ever out there. And honestly, I think if Warren's healthy or quote for quote good to go, I think it's still going to be a split backfield this week with heavy run game on like the docket. I think both guys are going to be startable. We'll obviously get there on Thursday.
Yeah, and then potentially, as of now, it looks like the Browns are preparing to go forward with Shadur Sanders this week as a starting quarterback against the Las Vegas Raiders. Dylan Gabriel suffered a concussion against the Ravens. Sanders stepped in, did not play great. So we'll see what a full week of prep with the first team does for him in this offense against a really bad Las Vegas Raiders team. So the beneficiary for Sanders is that he gets to play one of, if not maybe the worst team in football on Sunday.
That is the one blessing for this kid. Like, he looked really bad versus Baltimore, like 4 for 16 or something like that with a pick. Pretty ugly. I get he has a full week to prepare, but he's going up against Max Crosby, who's one of the best defensive ends of football. He's going to make his day a living hell. I don't expect much for the Browns offense next week if Sanders is out there.
And I believe that is it for the news roundup there.
Yeah, it was a pretty light news week this week for such a weird and chaotic week.
Yeah, it's nice to not be talking about guys getting season-ending injuries here. Just some minor injuries, nothing crazy that hurts fantasy. As we were going through that stretch where, like, oh no, Josh Jacobs. That's because it's not in the little news feed here I'm reading. Josh Jacobs is week to week. He got banged up against the Giants. It's 50-50 right now whether he plays or not.
I believe it was deemed a knee contusion or something along the lines of that. Okay. So I expect him to miss next week. As a Josh Jacobs owner,
I hope he takes the week off.
Yeah, exactly. You're also playing me in our home league, who I have Josh Jacobs. So it would benefit you a lot if Josh Jacobs does not play, brother.
If Jacobs is not out there, snag Emmanuel Wilson. He had a touchdown against the Giants. He'll be the focal point of the running attack there is. Jordan Love's also questionable. He got a little shoulder injury. He did come back, so I expect him to be out there Sunday against the Vikings.
Josh Jacobs came back. Like, they had Josh Jacobs back on the field, and then they pulled him off again. I expect him to miss a week. Like, CeeDee Lamb tried.
It's that wonderful MetLife turf.
Oh yeah, for sure. voted safest turf in football, by the way, by ESPN's medical team. So I would really love to see those reports.
I will never trust ESPN.
I will never trust MetLife turf, bro.
That's true. All right, you ready to dive into these players of the week /week?
Oh yeah, dude. I am ready.
All right, let's start with quarterback players of the week. These are our strong boys. These are the guys who likely got it done for you on fantasy this week. And we're just going to start out with Josh Allen, who had 6
unbelievable
touchdowns on Sunday. And it was a shaky start because he threw 2 interceptions, and this game was real back and forth. And he absolutely took over, and the game against Tampa lived up. That was my Super Bowl, and I will not complain if we get a rematch in February, as this was a fun little game, and Josh Allen absolutely took over. He is the best player on the planet, and I don't think I would put anybody else above him. But Josh Allen is an absolute machine out there. 6 touchdowns on Sunday for the Bills. Absolutely carried this team to victory against a really good Tampa Bay team.
Yeah, pure talent-wise, he is the best quarterback in football. Football skill mindset-wise, I would still take Mahomes over Josh Allen. If I needed a W in a game, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes. But this game was Josh Allen. Like, when my kids grow up, they're going to be like, describe Josh Allen to me. And I'm like, oh, go put that Bucs game on, because it starts a little bit rough. He has one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen in my life. It's so Brett Favre. Yeah. It's insane. Yeah. And then he comes out and puts 3 touchdowns through the air, 3 on the ground. Mondo game. I think it's the second game in his career where he's had 6 touchdowns total, 3 on the ground, 3 through the air. The dude is amazing. He's a freak. He's a machine. He's so much more talented than any guy else on the field at any given time. He is amazing to watch. And this game was amazing. There was like 9-10 lead changes, constantly back and forth. Like, this game was everything it was made out to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it lived up to the hype. unlike that Eagles-Lions game that we were hoping was going to be high scoring, and it was just a dud. I never want to see the Eagles in prime time again. All their games are just boring at this point. How about Bryce Young? 400 yards.
He got hurt.
He did. He did get hurt, and I thought he died.
It was scary. I'm like, he's out for
he
the
wasn't
year.
getting up, and I was like, oh yeah, he blew his ACL, and then he was back in next, and I'm like, oh, tough as hell. Great game. He got Carolina back in this game. They were down. Obviously losing Penix benefited Carolina a bit there, but let's not discredit Bryce Young leading this team back as Carolina. You never know what Panthers team you're getting week in, week out. They're 6-5 though. They're fighting for a playoff spot. This has been a much improved team over the last compared to last year and the year before. So shout out Bryce Young. Nice little game. If you took the risk on playing him, kudos to you, but chances are he wasn't in a ton of lineups, but deserves his flowers nonetheless.
Yeah, for sure. Great game. Coming back from an injury mid-game, and you came out and put up Mondo stats after the injury. He's a dog. Like, it don't matter what you can say about Bryce Young, what his career has been on, but to do that in a football game, absolute dog mentality. So shout out Bryce Young.
Yeah. Other names, Dak Prescott, 4 touchdowns on Monday. Jacoby Brissett
huge game.
Continues to be great for fantasy. He set the NFL record for most completions in a game. He's got a very friendly schedule coming up. Jacoby Brissett should be a name to monitor. Justin Fields was good for fantasy, but we no longer have to talk about him. He was benched. Brock Purdy came back. He looked good. The Niners offense was clicking. So going forward, I think you could plug Brock Purdy back in your lineup. Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love, Marcus Mariota, Davis Mills sort of round out the rest of the group there.
Yeah, once you get down to like the top, like the 11th and 12th guy, man, they're like under 20 points in most leagues. Not a huge league for quarterbacks. So like if you were blessed with like Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, really those are the 2 guys out of the top 4 guys that were started consistently, because not a lot of people started Bryce Young or Jacoby Brissett. So pretty weird quarterback week.
Yeah, really, really tough. I mean, like the everybody else was sort of middle of the pack here. Yep. Running backs. I had the right team for plays at the starts of the week, but it was the other Tampa Bay Buccaneers running back, Sean Tucker, out there putting in the work. Christian McCaffrey continues to find his way into this segment.
Big dog,
Travion
baby.
Henderson on Thursday, 3 touchdowns. This is what I've just been waiting for. And this is 2 weeks in a row where he is taking the backfield and just, guys, now a stranglehold of it. We'll see what it looks like with Ramondre likely coming back, and they're playing Cincinnati, so it's juicy either way. Bijan Robinson, Kenny Gainwell, Devon Achane, James Cook, Derrick Henry, Ken Walker, Jahmyr Gibbs, they round out the top 10. Ken Walker would find his way into the top 10 after I trade him.
And it happens, dude. I'm going to talk about 2 guys that I think are actually legitimately league winners going forward. Travion Henderson is one of them. His matchups going forward are Cincinnati, the Giants, his bye week, Buffalo, Baltimore, the Jets. Every single one of them is a top.
Don't love that bye week. The week, your final week of regular season.
I remember leagues. It last week. It did happen. I think Josh Jacobs was one of those guys last year that had the last week bye. It was either him or like Jonathan Taylor. It was one of those 2 guys, like a Mondo guy and it's going to be Travion Henderson this year. They are all green matchups. They are all really good on paper, and he is the guy going forward. This offense is going to run through him and Drake May. It's going to be amazing to watch. He's had 5 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks, dude. Like, that's insane production. And he's so explosive. Literally, you can have 3 touchdowns any given week.
Yep. Yeah. Travis Etienne and Chase Brown rounded out the RB1s, top 12. But yeah, a decent week for running backs in general. Like Tyrone Tracy, solid week. He pushed 18 points in full PPR. Same with Devin Singletary, both Giants running backs out there doing work. Like Kyron Williams, Rico Dowdle, Ty Johnson, Bam Knight, Emmanuel Wilson. Like, these were guys that all had really good weeks and came through. Etienne, even with, like, it was promising with Etienne. is Bashal Tootin had a career day as well, and ETN still found his way into the RB1 range as Jacksonville absolutely hammered the Chargers. Dude, who saw that coming? They
Not
looked
this guy,
great
for sure.
Sunday. Yeah, me either. And I'm the Jacksonville guy, and I would have said there was no chance of them beating the Chargers that bad.
Yeah, that game was insane, and I was still pretty high on ETN this week, so I'm glad he came out there. He still had a good game, 19 carries, 73 on the ground, and 2 touchdowns. Like you'll take that any given week from a running back for sure.
Yep. Kenny Gainwell, we brought up Jaylen Warren got hurt, and he benefited heavy on that, was really involved in the passing game, and he, of course, got the benefit of playing the Bengals, and that was a big reason Jaylen Warren was your play of the week at running back, was because they were playing Cincinnati, and Kenneth Gainwell out here really carrying the Pittsburgh offense because they didn't do a ton through the air. So it was all Kenny Gainwell there for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it started off really nice for Warren. He had a couple big runs. Like, he still outrushed Kenny G on the day, even though he got hurt. But Kenny G ate it up through the air, dude. He had 2 receiving touchdowns. I think he brought in like 7 catches or something like that. So Mondo game through the receiving. Like, he was the guy through the air. Like, there was no receivers. It wasn't DK. It wasn't Calvin Austin.
Nope.
The tight ends were barely involved. Though Darnell Washington had one of the greatest catches I've ever seen in my life, bro.
I love
you love
Darnell
that dude.
Washington.
Yeah.
Pre-podcast, he was like in my top 15 of his draft class. I was just enamored with him. Like, I didn't even care that like he hardly caught a ton of passes at Georgia. I just loved like the physicality he brought, and like this dude's pushing 300 pounds. He's 6'7". He was just running dudes over and just throwing them. I get it was Cincinnati, but it brought a big smile to my face. I adore Darnell Washington. He is a unique talent.
That play was amazing. Like, everyone, if you haven't watched it, definitely go watch it.
He also hurdled a dude.
I did see that. He will make any cornerback look undersized. It doesn't matter who it is, and they are literally just bouncing off of him. Like, it's like Derrick Henry high school highlights, dude. Like, no one should be that big playing football. Yeah, and he just towers over NFL talent. It's insane watching it.
Yeah. Speaking of Derrick Henry, it was good to see him here in a tough matchup against Cleveland. After the first time they played Cleveland, they really shut him down. Derrick Henry found his way into the top 10 for fantasy. And I'll shout out Chase Brown, podcast darling. He's got a nice schedule coming up. He continues to find his way here into the RB1 category as the Bengals offense is competent again with Joe Flacco. And then when Joe Burrow comes back, I don't think it's going to hurt Chase Brown at all either. So if you rode the wave and stuck with them after the really bad start, Chase Brown could be paying off for you come the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. Chase Brown's season it's almost lining up like it did last year, where the first half of the year just wasn't useful at all, but he's going to be so good on the back end and win people leagues. He's not one of the guys I'm bringing up, but his schedule looks so good, and he's been a top 12 guy the last 3 weeks, 4 if you count the bye week in there, obviously, but on paper, he's got really juicy matchups for fantasy that are going to get teams to the playoffs. So
yep.
Chase Brown is paying off for teams at this point.
Yeah. All right. Remember for next year, don't draft Chase Brown. Trade for him on the cheap when he has a bad start to the year. Okay.
Yep. Don't overpay for Chase Brown in the draft. You can get him dirt cheap halfway through.
Not like this guy who drafted him in the second round because I just had to have him.
We needed it.
Yeah. Ready to move on to receivers?
Yeah, I think so. Quick, I just want to give Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary shout-outs with Mike Kafka as our head coach calling plays. We are going to focus on the run game in a show. These two guys had really good games versus Green Bay, who has a really good defense. Even with Jameis Winston as our quarterback, being the Giants, we really didn't rely on him through the air passing. It was on the backs of Tracy and Devin Singletary getting the job done.
It was a tough loss for the Giants. Winston,
they always are, dude.
Offense and defense really hung around, and you guys had a chance to tie it up there at the end, and Winston threw the interception in the end zone.
Classic.
Yeah.
Live and die by the pick, baby. It is what it is.
Yeah. Wide receivers. There's some interesting cats in this one. How about Michael Wilson of the Arizona Cardinals, wide receiver 1 on the week? We were just had zero interest in any Cardinals receiver when Marv was labeled out, and Michael Wilson. It blows my mind that they don't utilize him. Like, he's capable of doing things, but when Marv and Trey McBride are out there, Michael Wilson is a non-factor. But anytime he's had to step up, he's done so. If nobody picked him up, I would snag him if Marv's not out there next week. Arizona's got Jacksonville, nice little matchup. Tedero McMillan, great game for him. Bryce Young really slinging it through the air, and McMillan was the benefactor of that. Your start of the week, George Pickens, excellent game against the Raiders there, even with the not playing the first series with the weird benching him and CeeDee Lamb. Apparently we're out partying all night.
Who cares? Who cares? These two guys step on the field and they instantly start scoring touchdowns. Like, this offense is good, but it runs through CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Get those guys on the field. Do not be dumb.
Yeah, who would have thought that? Deebo Samuel, Christian Watson, Jackson Smith, and Jigba.
Shocking.
Which incredible considering Sam Darnold.
How bad Sam Darnold was.
4 interceptions, and the Seahawks somehow nearly won that game. I'm still on the boat that they're really good. I think the Rams are the best team, though, in the NFL, and it wouldn't surprise me if that is a playoff rematch, as they'll play again in the coming weeks. But the Rams, Chris Shula and their defense has absolutely owned Sam Darnold the last 3 games. He played him twice last year in Minnesota, and the Rams ate him up, and now they did it again here on Sunday. Jameson Williams, Stephon Diggs, Tyrell Shavers, Drake London, Greg Dortch. They round out your top 12. Greg Dortch. Both Cardinals wide receivers somehow find their way into the wide receiver 1 range.
Greg Dortch is also one of those guys that whenever they just need him to produce, he can, and they just don't use him when they have other guys out there. Like, this could be a really good receiving crew. Like, Greg Dortch is fine. Michael Wilson's fine. Marv is Marv. Trey McBride's real amazing, arguably the best tight end in football. Yeah. Utilize these guys. Get these guys involved. Like, at this point, I don't know what's going on. If it's coaching, scheme-wise.
No, I've been on that it's coaching for months. True. I don't know what the Cardinals coaching's at. Like, I don't think Jonathan Gannon makes it out of this year. I think he's getting fired.
I kind of agree.
But yeah, like, anytime, like we said, with Michael Wilson and Greg Dortch falls in that. Anytime he's had to step out there, he's been incredibly productive. Like, Ash in our home league, she had Keon Coleman and she had to start him, and then he was ruled out right before the game. Healthy scratch, coach didn't play him, maturity issues, stuff like that. And she's just like, I don't even know who to pick up. And I'm like, take a flyer on Greg Dortch. Like, he's a good, safe floor. Like, he can PPR his way to productive numbers, and he did just that for you.
Yeah, for sure. He could easily be a Josh Downs of any offense. Like, he could go out there and get you 5-6 catches every week, 50, 60 yards, maybe a touchdown here and there. Like, at the end of the day, Greg Dortch and Michael Wilson are good football players. They're just not utilized in the offense. So we had zero faith in these guys going forward. Yeah. But let's get these guys the ball. What are we doing here?
Arizona on paper should be an appealing job for an offensive-minded coach. You have a big-body receiver. You have an elite tight end. You're going to have a high draft pick. Maybe you look at Jeremiah Love if you're not comfortable with Trey Benson as the future back. I don't know, but it'll be interesting. The defense isn't bad. So we'll see. CeeDee Lamb, Xavier Legette, T. Higgins, Trey Tucker, Puka Nacua, John Mechie III, Pat Bryant, Troy Franklin. They run out the top 20.
Yeah, decent week for a lot of these guys, but when we get to the 15 through 24 range, it's nothing crazy. Like, really, running backs were the only position that really consistently shelled out here.
Yeah, like Van Jefferson and Jalen Coker were tied for wide receiver 24, which would make them wide receiver 2s, and they only had 11 points at full PPR.
Yeah, so nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But the top end guys, man, like Tet, dude, amazing game with Bryce Young. Freaking 8 for 130, 2 touchdowns, Mondo week. Nico Collins, like you talked about earlier, another huge performance, back-to-back big weeks with Davis Mills, so expect another one this week versus Buffalo. Man, I'm going to quick bring up Jameson Williams. He's had 3 really good weeks. 4 if you want to go back to week 6 versus Kansas City. I get he had a bye week and then a dud versus Tampa Bay in between there, but like Dan Campbell is calling the plays now the last 2 weeks, and Jameson Williams has been heavily involved.
Yep.
Sam Laporta hit the IR with a back injury, so he's not there. And the offense is completely changed. We're not running Jameson Williams straight deep down the field. We're running him across the middle, and he is so much faster than any guy on any defense in football. He's going to score. He is the other guy I'm going to bring up that is going to win people leagues. His schedule going forward is the Giants. He's going to torch the Giants defense. Green Bay, he's going to torch Green Bay's defense. Then he plays Dallas, bro. He could go off for 3 touchdowns, 200 yards versus Dallas, bro. Like, that game is going to be insane. He plays the Rams, phenomenal matchup. He plays Pittsburgh, phenomenal matchup. Week 17 is the rough one. He plays Minnesota. So he's going to get so many people to the championships.
He got into Minnesota's been decent against receivers, minus that game against Philly, but Jameson Williams had a good game against Minnesota. He had 60 yards and a touchdown. So he's the type of player, receiver-wise, that beats the Vikings.
That is true. He is that kind of guy. Like, Jameson Williams with Dan Campbell calling plays, he is that guy. Like, I get Amon-Ra, and you're never going to bench him. But Jameson Williams, he could be at a cheap if the trade deadline hasn't passed. I literally quick scooped him Monday night before the game ended, before the trade deadline ended in our home league. I needed this guy on my team going forward, and I'm so happy it happened. He has scored 3 touchdowns in 3 straight games. Like, he is the Jameson Williams we thought he was. We are never wrong. Yeah. We are just early.
We were just really early on. And saying sort of like with Chase Brown, if you rode the wave and stuck with it, Jameson Williams is paying off. I'll bring up Christian Watson. He is the receiver this Packers offense has just been missing. He finally got into the end zone this past week as they got him. Like, he only had 5 targets, but 4 for 46, 2 touchdowns. Like, he is the field stretcher here. Romeo Doubs has just, he was banged up. He got banged up on Sunday too. And Matthew Golden hasn't been reliable. Still no Tucker Kraft. He's not going to be here this year. Like, this team needs Christian Watson more than it's ever had. And I think going forward, we're going to see him be that end zone target for them and be the touchdown guy for this offense. And he's available in a ton of leagues. Like, 30-40% of leagues he's only rostered in. So he is an easy go out there and get guy. And schedule's pretty good. He's got, Minnesota this week, a little tougher matchup, but he's got Detroit and Chicago. You can pass on both them. Denver's tough, but then he's got Chicago and Baltimore in championship week against the Ravens. The Ravens have been really bad against the pass, a little bit better here than they were early in the year, but still a great matchup for him. And it's going to cost you minimal because he's probably out there on your waivers.
Yeah, for sure. He is the guy that this offense needed. And he looked the part last week, so I love that a lot. Go get him on waivers for sure.
All right, you want to talk about tight ends, and then we'll move on to the bad?
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Couple crazy tight end performances this week.
Yeah. Trey McBride.
Oh, incredible. The best. The absolute best.
Jacoby Brissett is the best thing that's ever happened to this man. He's scoring touchdowns, plus getting that utilization that he got when Kyler Murray was there. So Trey McBride, an absolute machine. George Kittle. We brought it up.
You want to hear a crazy fact about Trey McBride? He has scored a touchdown in more games than he hasn't scored a touchdown in this year. And that's an insane fact because he scored 1 touchdown last year.
Yeah. And he maybe had 1 touchdown coming into the stretch with Kyler Murray.
He did. Yeah, for sure. He's literally scored a touchdown, though, in 5 straight games. He has 6 touchdowns in those 5 games. He is on an unbelievable stretch, bro. Like, he is so far and above better than any tight end of football right now.
Yeah, it's crazy, like, how much Kyler Murray holds this offense back.
Yeah. He will never play a game as a Cardinal again. It will never happen.
Yeah. George Kittle was tight end 2 in full PPR.
Big dog.
We brought up that Brock Purdy being back was going to fully boost George Kittle, and it did just that. Travis Kelce, he hasn't been in this segment a whole bunch, but
it's nice having him here, dude. It feels good.
Yep. Your dude, AJ Barner, big body.
I love that guy, dude. He's so good.
Getting it done. Mark Andrews had that wild rushing touchdown from like the push position.
He was so quick.
Insane play. He did. He looked like
He
he
looked
had juice.
so
I couldn't
fast,
believe
bro. I haven't seen a guy run a route that fast in 5 years, dude.
Yeah. No, yeah. Like, it's like running routes. It's like, I can't do that. Just give me the ball. Play
End
running
arounds?
back.
I'll
Yeah.
house it, bro.
Running back, full back him. Just dink it to him. Screen pass. He doesn't have to run
Hell
a
yeah,
route.
dude. Yep.
Give him Zay Flowers' job and let Zay Flowers do the route running business.
Switch him out.
Brock Bowers, nice game. Second best tight end in football behind Trey McBride. Jake Ferguson, Dalton Schultz, Darnell Washington. The names that run out here: Cole Kmet, Colby
They get
Parkinson,
bad.
Chicken Conquell.
Yeah.
This is a classic tight end week where it's just like nobody played these guys. Nobody started Darnell Washington, Cole Kmet, Colby Parkinson, Chicken Conquell. These names completely irrelevant for fantasy, but the big names up top, they got the job done for you.
Yeah, it's nice looking at like the tight end week from week 11, and it's Trey McBride, it's George Kittle, it's Travis Kelce, it's Mark Andrews, it's Brock Bowers, it's Jake Ferguson. Like those are household tight end names, and it's just really nice to see those guys at the top of the list. And hey, AJ Barner as well, baby, the biggest of bodies.
Yeah, he's probably falls in this weird like spot start situation. You can't rely on him every week, but hey, if the matchup works out for him, you can sneak him into your lineup. He's good for a touchdown, and that's where you're going to shoot for the upside on the streaming.
He had 11 targets, bro. Like, I get that's not like a sticky thing for him, but if you're telling me any given week he could have 11 targets and bring in 9 or 10 of them, that's a PPR god game, dude. So hell yeah, give me that any week.
Rams secondary is really good. They did a great job of holding Cooper Kupp and Rashid Shaheed in check. They did what they could with Jackson Smith and Chig, but it's impossible to keep him in check. But his was really a big play. That's where he got a majority of his points. All right. Anyone else in that tight end group we want to talk about? I don't think so. I don't
really think so, man. Shout out Dalton Schultz finally showing up on someone's play of the weeks, because that guy absolutely destroyed me when I picked him.
Hey, if Davis Mills is out there, Dalton Schultz is a fine plug play. He'll be okay for you.
It seems that way.
Yeah. All right. Before we move on to the baddies, in a bad way, actual baddies, not the hotties. Let's shout out the affiliates of the Drafted Up podcast. Those be our friends over at Finley Hats and W Energy. Finley hats are built for good times and long times. If your hat is damaged or destroyed, they'll replace it or repair it absolutely free. They got the Stampede laces, they got the customizable pins, they got the hidden pockets. They do flash drops every Friday. You can check them out. It's 10 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Pacific. They do their drops on the website, limited run stuff, but they also have just set designs as well. Anyone that watches the show knows I have a Finley hat on 90% of the episodes. A ton of cool designs. So check them out. In the description, there's a link. You can click it, get 15% off your first purchase. So join the force over at Finley Hats. And then the OG of the Drafted Up podcast, W Energy. It's good, clean energy. No artificial dyes, no sweeteners, none of that stuff. It's jitterless energy. You're not going to have that crash and burn that you get with some of those energy drinks. They got a collab with Chainsaw Man. It's blood orange. It's delicious. I highly recommend it. It's one of my top 3 W flavors. They just dropped a new flavor officially today. It was dished out in affiliate packs, but now you can go buy it yourself. It is a sweet and sour blue raz. It's pretty good. Kind of has a hint of cotton candy more than blue raz in my mind, but it is a unique flavor, so check that out. They also have a ton of other flavors and collabs with Solo Leveling, which was the anime of the year last year, and then other content creators. So check them out. Go to w.gg, that's DUBBY, or find them in your app store. They got an app. You can order from there as well. And then use the code DRAFTEDUP for a nice 10% discount anytime you order from W Energy. That code will get you a nice discount. So support our friends over at W. Be better. Eat that dub with W Energy. All right, players of the week. These were the guys who did not get it done for you for fantasy. Yeah, there you go. Nick's got the sign for all you visual folks. Audio. Yeah, you might have heard his.
Sorry,
you might have heard the paper.
You might have heard the paper.
There were some names here. We brought up Sam Darnold. He threw 4 interceptions. It was a tough go for him. The LA Rams have Sam Darnold's number, and But the positive, like Seattle's really like sticking by. Like Ernest Jones, just like, hey, we fucked up. Like not Sam. You can't blame this game on Sam. Which incredible coming from them because like you can kind of get wrapped up in that. JJ McCarthy was bad for the
Yeah.
Vikings against the Bears. Yeah, he had the potential game winning touchdown drive that was thwarted by the Bears having a 50-yard kick return and then kicking a game winning field goal. But prior to that, he was unwatchable. It was tough. Michael Penix, he got hurt, so shame for him. Lamar Jackson was not great. Baltimore
was bad, bro.
The Browns defense was giving him a fit, and that was a game Baltimore almost lost. And Shadur Sanders might have cost Cleveland that game. Derrick Henry was the big focal point of the Ravens offense. Justin Herbert, we brought up the Chargers, got beat up by the Jags. Justin Herbert, it was a tough game for him. Caleb Williams was pretty average against the Vikings. Joe Flacco wasn't great for the Bengals against Pittsburgh. Bo Nix pretty average against Denver or against Kansas City, but Denver won that game. Go figure. Like we were for sure Kansas City was going to win the game. Denver just keeps finding ways to win these games, and very flawed 8-2. But hey, let them run. They're running with it. And then Jared Goff. Matt Stafford just kind of average as well for you. Tough week for quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes. I could bring him up. He was QB 14, 15, and he wasn't great, but he's close to that QB1 range because a tough week for quarterbacks. None of them scored a ton of points.
Yeah, Jared Goff was quote for quote all right for fantasy. Like he had close to 17 points in most leagues, but real life he was really bad, bro. Like it really showed that this dude is really like dome oriented. He had to go to Philadelphia. It was cold. It was windy. We live in Philly, bro. Like we know the weather. It was bad, bro. It was absolutely disgusting. He literally went 14 for 37, bro. Like that is a shit game. So even though Jared Goff was still this bad, Jameson Williams still showed up, bro. And that's what I'm like looking at here. Like, it doesn't matter if Jared Goff goes out there and shits the bed. As long as he hits J-Mo once deep, bro, like, he's still in line for a big game.
Yeah. Running backs. Breece Hall wasn't great for the Jets.
Well, when you're the only man out there for a football team, it's kind of hard to be good.
Rachaad White got overtaken by Sean Tucker, even though he was out there for the majority of the snaps. He just didn't get it done. He was efficient, which is the case with Rachaad White when he has a guy toting the rock with him. He was 10 for 51. Like the numbers were good, but no touchdowns. RJ Harvey, he didn't get it done as the lead back in Denver. Jaleel McLaughlin, we brought it up. He was involved. He got a touchdown. Guy hasn't played all year, and he comes in and was taking valuable carries away from RJ Harvey. Zach Charbonnet, Woody Marks, Quinshon Judkins, Tony Pollard, David Montgomery, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. You can just get rid of Bill at this point. This is Chris Rodriguez's backfield going forward. Anyone else?
Bring up Barkley. Barkley had a bad game.
No, I didn't because he was
fantasy. He had a bad fantasy.
Yeah,
let me relie that. He had a really good real life game.
He fell into the flex category. That's why I didn't bring him. But yeah, he only had 10 points in full PPR.
Yeah, fair enough. The problem was he only had one catch on 2 targets, where he's been getting pretty close to 3 to 4 catches a game out there. Mm-hmm. But Barkley has more games outside of the top 12 than he does finishing in the top 12 this year. To where last year he was consistently in the top 5. Like it's a drastic difference what we're happening, and the carries are adding up. He had way too much workload last year. His body can't handle that. He just lost Lane Johnson for the next 4 to 6 weeks, so it's not going to get any better for Barkley. So obviously you're not going to bench him. Thankfully he's got really good matchups coming up, but don't expect Barkley to be like, oh, I got Barkley, he's going to be RB3, RB4. If he's RB15 going forward consistently, it is what it is, but you can't bench Barkley. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Unless you're in a guillotine league and you can just buy all the other players and you could bench Saquon Barkley.
Side note, are you still in your guillotine league?
Yeah, I am.
Me too, bro. Let's go.
I'm the only one with fab money too, so I'm buying all the guys, just placing $1 on them all.
Smart man. I should look at that. I should look to make sure and see if anyone else has Fab. I didn't even think about that.
I got Trey McBride. I got Saquon. I got Jahmyr Gibbs. I got Bijan. I'm about to get Jonathan Taylor. So
Jonathan Taylor is what has kept me alive. I have JT. Yeah. But all my waivers is Gibbs, so I'm hoping to get Gibbs in waivers this week, dude. You and I are sitting pretty, bro.
fun fact: Ash also still in her guillotine league somehow. The three of us,
we're crushing
drafted
it, bro.
our guillotine teams at like the same time.
Yeah.
We're doing wonders. Fun little league. Interesting concept. DeAndre Swift, Ashton Jeanty are the two other names I failed to bring up. Swift, the workload was there, but none guys sniped a touchdown that kind of hurt him. Ashton Jeanty just. It was inefficient. Like, how do you have this back you draft top 5 and you only give him 6 carries against a bad Cowboys defense? And thankfully for fantasy, quote unquote, he had some reception. So in full PPR, that salvaged him from being, only having like 4 or 5 points. So a tough game. The Raiders are a bad situation, and it is not helping Ashton Jeanty going forward for them.
Yeah, dude, I totally agree, man. And another week where Manungai outscored DeAndre Swift, bro. That's 2 out of 3 weeks. So,
the touchdown really benefited him. It was
100%
of his points, but
he is the touchdown guy.
He's getting the goal line stuff for Detroit there, and tough to run on Minnesota as well.
Guess what podcast was crazy pro Kyle Manungai, baby?
That was us.
That was us. Hell yeah, dog.
I was shocked that you were pro Kyle Manungai.
It's good, bro. I like guys that are good at football. What can I say?
Yeah, I thought that was just going to be me. Anyone else here in these the weak boys, the not strong boys?
I'm just going to throw out Javonte Williams the last 2 weeks, 3 because he had the bye. It hasn't been anything crazy like it was going forward, or like it was prior to this. But he hasn't scored touchdowns. Like, that is what he was relying on. Yep. He was getting consistent touchdowns. Same with Jake Ferguson. So once CeeDee Lamb kind of came back, this whole offense kind of like swift back to CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, and we're going to throw the ball deep down the field, and then we'll kind of use Javonte and we'll use Jake Ferguson here and there. Like, for most of the game, Jake Ferguson literally had 1 catch for 5 yards and a touchdown. That was Jake Ferguson's stat line for most of the game. Javonte, he had a really good game on the ground. He had 93 yards on 22 carries. Like, he's getting the work. But the last 3 games he's played, he's had 4 targets total. To where the games prior to that, he had 4, he had 8, he had 6, he had 7, he had 5. He was getting really consistent receiving work. So Javonte is not a for sure set guy going forward. He's going to be a little bit more bumpier. So watch out for Javonte Williams.
He teeters into that RB2 flex range, whereas early in the year he was straight out
lock RB1. Yep.
CeeDee Lamb coming back has kind of changed
everything,
the identity of the offense.
For sure.
Wide receivers, Justin Jefferson was right outside the wide receiver 2s, but bringing him up, and it's not a Justin Jefferson doing it. Is a quarterback play calling issue in Minnesota. Jordan Addison as well. He was saved by a touchdown. He also had like 3 drops. Like, he was a problem out there.
I don't know which drop it was specifically, but man, oh man, I looked at I was just like baffled that he could drop that ball, dude. I'm like, what happened?
He was running a crosser, and it was an easy catch that he could have caught and run for 20 yards, and he could have taken it, dropped it.
Yeah. He could have housed it. He's so fast, bro.
Yep, I was watching that, and I have a lot of stock in Jordan Addison. I saw the pass go. I'm like, oh, this is money. Here we go. Point, and he dropped it. I'm like, dude. Cortland Sutton,
bomb, bro. That's your boy.
It is, like it didn't help that
Tim Patrick's out here. Freaking Tim Patrick's more involved, bro.
Well, Tim Patrick was in Jacksonville.
Not Tim Patrick. What's his face?
Pat Bryant.
Yes,
Pat Bryant. Pat Bryant was their wide receiver 1 for fantasy.
That's who I was looking at. Tim Patrick's name. I meant Pat Bryant, but him and Troy Franklin, dude, I'm worried for Cortland Sutton the rest of the season, bro. Like fantasy wise, I don't know if you could play him at all.
My biggest selling point on Cortland Sutton was the fact that he was the most established name here. We didn't know who these other options were, and we thought they were all just going to cancel each other out. Well, now we're getting deep into the fantasy, and Cortland Sutton started off really good, and now it's sort of he's falling into this range with them where they're all sort of canceling each other out. So we'll see going forward with Cortland Sutton. I did not play him in most of the leagues. I did have him.
I agree.
And they have a bye next week, so we'll see going forward what goes on with Cortland Sutton. DK Metcalf, Rashi Rice, Juwan Jennings, Keenan Allen, Emeka Egbuka, Jalen Waddle, Wandale Robinson, Devontae Adams, some big names here. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Roma Dunze, Jamar Chase, Xavier Worthy. He might be a cut candidate at this point. Lad McConkey. This is the Chargers in general. Quentin Johnston had a goose. So DJ Moore. Like there's some decent names on this list. Calvin Ridley, who got hurt again. He went on IR, I believe you said before we hopped on air.
Yep.
Yeah, some big. Devonta Smith, he had one catch. Tej Johnson, who we've really liked, not his best performance either.
That's what I don't understand about the Bucks.
I'm just scrolling through. I'm like, man, Chris Olave had 0 points. He was on a bye. Disregard.
Like the Bucks scored so many points, bro. I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah. Sean Tucker scored so many points.
That's what Tez had one catch. A Doomsday, he was on this bad list. When we get to the tight ends, freaking Cade Otton's going to be on the bad list.
Yeah.
Abuka, Tez Johnson, Cade Otton.
Baker had one touchdown,
but he had a good game. Like Baker looked good. Mm-hmm. He was putting up stats.
Yeah,
it's
Sean
just
Tucker.
Every touchdown went to Sean Tucker. It's so weird, bro. Yeah. And there, like you said, there are a lot of receivers down here too, like Jamar Chase, Roma Doomsday, like big time guys that it's a rough performance for a lot of wide receivers as well this week.
Yeah.
And I think that really shows to why there was only really 3 or 4 good quarterbacks in fantasy this week, because just like the receivers, it was very top heavy. Once you got down to after your wide receiver twos, it got pretty rough, bro.
Yeah, we could have played a game of what receivers did Jalen Hyatt have more fantasy points than, and there's some names on there that you would not be happy with. Yeah, Jalen Hyatt's outscoring.
I would also like to. I get you brought up Jalen Hyatt.
Ricky Pearsall as well. Tough game for him. It was his first
game back. Yeah, I expect him to be way more involved next week.
It was a heavy George Kittle game.
The Giants brought back Isaiah Hodgins from someone's practice squad. I forget who he snagged him from. I honestly think it was a crime that we let him go and still had Jalen Hyatt on our team this whole time. Like, we literally pulled him off a practice squad with no practice pretty much all week, and Isaiah Hodgins shows up and puts up 5 for 50. What are we doing here?
He has to be a Kafka guy.
100% of Mike Kafka. It has to be Mike Kafka, because when he was heavily involved, Mike Kafka was running our offense.
Yeah, and Hodgins looked great with you guys.
He looked so good, run. Dude. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I was surprised
that you guys guy back then.
Let him go, but maybe the case was he wasn't a Daboll guy, and now with Daboll out of town, there's some stuff going around that Brian Daboll might end up as the Penn State head coach. So that'll be interesting to see.
Maybe he can take fucking Joe Shane with him, bro. Get that guy out of New York, bro. I'm calling for that dude's head, bro.
You could thank those last 2 draft classes producing for the Giants being the reason Joe Shane's keeping his job.
Which is like, I get he drafted Carter, but who wouldn't have drafted Carter at 3? It was a set in stone pick. He didn't want Jackson Dart. He's pretty much been on air saying that was Brian Daboll's pick. I'm sorry, I'm not giving him any credit for the Jackson Dart pick. And sure, freaking Deontay Banks is a bust. Evan Neal. Bust, bro. Thibodeau's fine, but he's still kind of a bust.
Was Neal a Daboll Shane pick? I thought that was a Gettleman pick.
I don't know. I thought that was Joe Shane's first year. I thought that was their first year. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
but either way, Joe Shane has been not. He's not. Oh God, I can go on for hours about why he should not be the Giants GM anymore.
Your defensive coordinator got Brian Daboll fired. There's no reason that unit has been up and down, because there's names like Drew Phillips is good. Paulson Debo's been hurt, but him not being out there shouldn't be the reason this secondary's falling apart. Tyler Newman's been real touch and go. He hasn't been as good as I thought he was going to be.
No.
But yeah, I'm on board that. Daboll, they should have gave Daboll the year.
That's my thing about Joe Shane, bro. on paper, he has drafted draft classes that you and I have loved. He is drafted so good, but it is his job to make sure that this talent develops. I get it's also on the head coach, but it is his job to put the whole team together on paper and form a coherent usage. That's his job, and he's failed completely. Yeah. He's failed miserably. Where the hell is our offensive line, bro? Where he's not putting an offensive line together in 4 or 5 years.
Agent signings haven't been great. Like John Runyon hasn't worked out. He's been pretty below average as a guard.
But let me tell you something. Everyone that we've let go in free agency has panned out for everybody else. McKinney, Julian Love, Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley. I can go on and on about Giants free agents that are just bangers.
You could probably also just thank Brian Burns trade as well, really working out for you. Brian Burns has been an absolute machine.
He's been amazing. He's been phenomenal.
He's one of the best, if not the best edge rusher this year. And the Giants getting him for a good value certainly does make Joe Shane look good, even though anyone would have seen trading for Brian Burns was a good idea. He's one of the premier edge rushers in football. All right. Let's get in the tight ends, and then we'll move on to Thursday night. Theo Johnson.
Bum, bro.
Yeah, tough game for him. Yeah, TJ Hawkinson. We should probably be rewarding him. He had a good game for him, but not good for fantasy. He had a nice 6.9 points. Colston Loveland, Mason Taylor, Jadavian Sanders, but you're not certain. Aronde Gadsden, it was a tough go for him. Kate Otten, you brought him up. Harold Fannin and David Njoku for the Browns. Kyle Pitts for Atlanta. Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith. They had the juicy matchup, and it was Darnell Washington who was the guy who got all the points for the Steelers tight ends. Dallas Goedert, Greg Dulcich, who we've been hyping up, that you can just disregard that anymore. His usage, he's out there, but he's not getting the Darren Waller amount of targets. Dawson Knox, who's should have been in line for a good game in Buffalo with no Dalton Kincaid. He didn't get it done for you either. And Luke Musgrave, who we brought up with without Tucker Kraft, everybody was just jumping to Luke Musgrave. We both agreed that he wasn't going to be a focal point in this offense, and so far, 2 games in, he has not been.
Shocking. We called it when they both literally were drafted. We were like, Tucker Kraft is a better tight end than Musgrave, bro. We liked Musgrave coming out of college, but he's not. They are completely night and day different tight ends. Musgrave is a blocky, bigger, slower, physical tight end. Tucker Kraft is a legitimate receiving threat, and it shows tremendously in this Green Bay offense, and he is heavily missed, bro.
Musgrave's final year in college was really good, and he's an athlete, and you were just banking on the traits hitting. And usually those tight ends you take a little bit later, take the flyer on them. But he got elevated due to a weaker class, and it's paid off and for Green Bay because Tucker Kraft's been really good for them. So taking the bullet on that second round pick for Luke Musgrave, and like I said, we were out on Musgrave where he was projected to go. We liked him more where Tucker Kraft ended up being drafted in the 4th, 5th round.
Yeah, they swapped. They just swapped them. They switched the spots, and even when it happened, I'm not worried. At some point, Tucker Kraft will get his spot on this team, and he will shine. And he has not dropped the ball since. So I'm excited for Tucker Kraft to come back next year.
Yeah. Any of those other tight ends?
I don't think so, man. Just a bad week for tight ends overall. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, it was. Thursday Night Football? You ready?
Thursday Night Football, baby.
All right, Thursday night, the Buffalo Bills travel to Houston to take on the Texans. The Bills, 6-point road favorites. Over-under set at 43.5. We already talked about it. No C.J. Stroud here for the Texans, but Davis Mills has been functional for them. You're going to keep rolling with Nico Collins. You're going to keep rolling with Dalton Schultz, potentially. He's the It's really just Woody Marks. The matchup's juicy here with Buffalo. I brought up Rashad White was my play of the week, and it ended up being Sean Tucker, who obliterated this Bills defense. The week before that, it was Devon Achane. So, in theory, Woody Marks is a great start here, but do you go with him as his work's he's been out there, but like he hasn't been getting any sort of valuable work. Like he's not getting touchdowns right now, but he's getting the utilization.
Yeah, I'm not particularly thrilled to start Woody Marks this week. I mean, I would try to find a pivot if I had the option, for sure, especially with it being on a Thursday night versus Buffalo with Davis Mills. I get he's been playing fine, but there's a chance that this game is just not really, really close. Like, Houston has a really good defense, but look what Buffalo just did to Tampa, bro. And Tampa's got a decent defense, too. They got a good unit, but if Josh Allen is feeling it and he's on his Josh Allen shit, bro, Woody Marks isn't going to be heavily used in the run game. Thankfully, he could get a couple catches here and there, but I'm not expecting a big game from Woody Marks.
Would you play Woody Marks or the Giants backs, Tracy and Singletary, who have a tough matchup against the Lions?
I would probably play Tracy over him and not Singletary, but I think him and Singletary are very, very close.
Okay.
And that's with the bad matchup.
Yeah, I would lead Marks over both of them. I would play the matchup there. What about the Seahawks guys, Charbonnet and Walker?
No,
they're playing Tennessee.
I'd probably play both Seattle backs, just on the upside of Charbonnet getting the touchdown, and Ken Walker could be very explosive. We've seen it last week.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anyone else there in Houston? It's really just those two, and then Woody Marks you could throw into the flex spot.
Yeah, no, you got it pretty much spot on. Nico is the only for sure start. Honestly, probably receiver in this whole game. I'm not going to lie to you. Even the County Buffalo guys.
Buffalo. That's been the case with Buffalo all year. You never know Keon Coleman was benched, and maybe this is a redemption game for him, but you're not going to put him in your lineup after a guy was a healthy scratch on Sunday. For a Thursday game, Gabe Davis was back. You're not playing him. Khalil Shakir's been real touch and go. You're not going to play Tyrell Shavers. No disrespect to him. Like, you can't rely on him. And no, Dalton Kincaid's probably not out there again. Really, Buffalo, it is, once again, Josh Allen and James Cook are your only locks for this team.
Yeah. Keon Coleman missed like a walkthrough Friday. That's why he missed the game. He's just got to get his head straight. Like, you've got to grow up at some point. Like, at the end of the day, you're a professional football player.
Talked about that. He said this is the call. Like, he's got to grow up or move on.
Oh, 100%. Like, it's really important at this point. Like, if you're willing to sit a guy first versus Tampa Bay, bro, in like a huge matchup, they're like, look, dude, you got to get your shit together now, or it's never gonna work out. Like, I would still play Khalil Shakir in like a flex spot. Well, obviously put him in your receiver spot. If people are playing Thursday, you want them in your receiver spots. Keep your flex
third
open.
Receiver or fourth receiver if you're double flex league.
I would be cool with that, but he's definitely. I don't think he's a wide receiver too this week. Yeah, we're going forward, obviously.
Yeah, he's the receiver you would play for Buffalo if you had to play one of them, obviously. Do you mess around with Ty Johnson? He's been involved, but it's a lot of big plays for him or touchdowns. There's not like consistent work per se.
I would probably start Woody Marks over him, so that's where my line would be. I wouldn't play him. So
yeah. Anyone else here?
I don't think so. I'm kind of excited. It could be a good game if Houston's offense shows up.
Yeah. You never know. Buffalo.
That is
lay it done like this year. We don't know what Buffalo team we're getting. They're like they're the elite version of the Carolina Panthers. You just don't know which one's showing up.
That is 100% true. With how good Houston's defense is, they could easily. Yeah, Buffalo's been hit or miss, bro. So if Josh Allen's not on his best and James Cook's not on his best, that's pretty much the whole offense, bro.
Yeah, this game could be 13-7.
I was gonna say like 2017.
Yeah, but it could also be I think there's a potential here that it hits the over of 43.5, and we're looking at like a 28-23 game.
No, we've seen Davis Mills be able to do it versus Jacksonville. They came back in a huge way. They dropped 30 points on that defense. Houston, if they're clicking, man, they got Nico. They they could make something happen.
Yeah. Regardless, I am going to take the Bills on the road here.
Yeah, no, I'm also taking Buffalo.
Yeah. All right. There we go. Thursday night football. Bills, Texans. We're both in agreement there. Buffalo victory. Next week, before we close off here, is Thanksgiving. So happy holidays for those celebrating. We will not be recording on Thursday. So we will be doing the Thursday episode on Tuesday. So Tuesday we'll release what could be a little bit longer of an episode. We'll see how it goes, but it could be jam-packed. It could just be the normal Thursday hour and a half shtick on Tuesday. So only one episode next week as we gear towards the holidays. There's 3 games on Thursday and a game on Friday. So ton of football next week in the early slate for the National Football League Week 12 as we push towards the fantasy playoffs. Anything else?
We're getting there, dude. Fantasy playoffs right around the corner, dude. Like, it's all on the horizon, man. It's time to lock in, dude. Like, there are people that have checked out in our home week. We usually don't have people that checked out. I played a guy that did not have 3 people in his lineup. He just forgot to check his lineup. His kicker was out.
Gonna boot him from the league.
I agree, dude. Like, man, that's a rough look, bro. You got to check your team, even if you're tanking, dude. Like, we don't allow that stuff, man. So
yeah, or even like message the commissioner, like, say you work a 3rd shift and you don't know if you're getting up. Message him like, hey, if I'm not up by the games, like, throw these guys in my lineup for me.
I agree. Like,
and a good commissioner will do that. I will do that.
This is stuff we probably shouldn't be talking about on the podcast, but I agree. Like, I couldn't tell you the last time someone hadn't set a full lineup in our home week.
We're the everyman's podcast. Everyone has home leagues.
It has been years, dude, since that's happened.
Yeah, so we'll be looking at that. So throw in the comments anything you disagreed with us or agreed with us or more content you want to see from us going forward in the future. And then we'll be back with our plays of the week on Thursday. And the rest of the week 12 slate. So yeah, subscribe, like, rate, review, all that good stuff. We'll catch you guys later this week.
Be there. See you Thursday.
Podcast. Adios.
Bye.